welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you know. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So, welcome back to another episode of Debunking Gun Myths. And, I just want to point something out here so that way we can kind of all be on the same page with this. Let me adjust that just a tiny bit there. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of the gun myths that have been, pushed throughout our community, I've taken a notice that a lot of them come from FUDs. Like a great deal of them come from FUDs. They are, I don't know where they get this stuff. Maybe it's the dementia, maybe it's the old age that's kind of, pushing it, but let's get into it. So, on this episode of Debunking Gun Myths, dropping the slide on an empty chamber can damage your gun. Not exactly. So, there is some, this is one of the few times where I will say there is some tiny level of truth to that statement. And I'm going to even point out why this became such a pushed thing and why it's just not the case. All right, so let's get right into it. So first off, one of the reasons why I have a problem with people even saying that in the first place is why the fuck are you trying to tell another grown man what to do with his firearm if he's not being unsafe with it? I understand if somebody's being unsafe with their firearm and you're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? That makes perfect sense. That's not a problem. However, if I want to drop my slide, I'm a grown man. All right, guess what? I can go buy new parts if I need to. If anything breaks, I can buy new parts. Would I like to? No. But the truth of the matter is that beyond the fact that I'm a grown fucking man and can do what I want with my own shit. All right, let's get that out of the way. Beyond that, a vast majority. We're not talking like, 51%. No, a vast majority of firearms nowadays are built a lot tougher than that. They can handle the slide being dropped. It is not there for no reason. It is not there by any standard for no reason. They can handle it. They will not break. The slide will not crack, as some of you dumbasses tried pointing out. I hate to break this to you guys. A majority of people don't buy guns like the Glock 44 where it has a fucking plastic slide that'll crack if you drop it. The majority of us have a legitimate metal for their slides. You see what I mean? Dropping the slide will not damage damn near fucking 90% of modern firearms. Now, I'm sure some of y'all are wondering, well, why is it only 90%? What's going on there with the other 10%? And how did this myth get pushed so far into the gun community that people like Masad Ayub are even trying to push it onto y'all? So, we're going to get right into that right now. So, as I mentioned before in the beginning of the video, it seems a lot of gun myths that have been, pushed around, the little, gun myth propaganda being pushed around has been done by FUDs, honestly. A lot of people don't like to admit it, but that's the truth. You got the gun myth of the rule of threes. You got the gun myth about, 45 is the Lord's caliber. It'll kill your soul too. You got a lot of gun myths coming out of there. And one of them that you really might notice is they will tell you to not drop the slide on your handgun. They will sit there and suggest that if you have the slide locked back, you can either, just like that, just let it go. And here's the truth of the matter here. Do I care what you do either way? No, not at all. I'm not going to tell another grown man what to do with this stuff if he's not being unsafe. If you're being unsafe, I might say, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? But you're a grown individual, as I said before. If you're not being unsafe with your guns, I don't care what you're doing with them personally. See what I mean? That's just how it should be. But regardless, let's get back into it. As I said before, a lot of these gun myths are being pushed by FUDs. And some of y'all might be wondering why that is. Well, what firearm is the FUD most known for? Now, that's a tough question right there. Well, for me, it's not. But for some of y'all might be like, that's a tough pick. You got the double barrel shotgun. That's the literal Elmer FUD right there of guns. But no, regardless, the 1911. It is the FUD's all-time favorite gun. It's won 2 world wars. It's the 45. It'll stop everybody. I only need 8 rounds. That's what's being pushed. All right. Now, why are they pushing this, and what does this have to do with the 1911 platform? Well, with the 1911 and 2011 platform, Actually, mainly 1911. I'm sure it is the case with some 2011s as well. However, regardless, mainly the 1911 platforms as a whole, it can damage parts of the gun to drop the slide on an empty chamber. It can fuck with the hammer. It can fuck with actually, a couple of parts. I couldn't remember in specific because I'm not a 1911 guy. I don't have one yet. Will I get one in the future? Absolutely. They are awesome. They're gorgeous. It's a it's a piece of American history. How can American not have a 1911? You see what I mean? So yeah, I will be getting one. However, I'm not a 1911 guy, so I don't know too much about them and have to do more research on them before I get them. But with the research I have done, I have found that yes, it can damage some of the parts right there with dropping the slide on an empty chamber for a 1911 platform handgun. That's just the truth here. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't drop the slide on an empty chamber with your 1911 or your 2011? As I mentioned before, it can damage some parts. Is doing it once or twice going to damage the parts? Probably not. However, it is a good idea to not build that habit with those particular handguns. But once again, the truth of the matter that a lot of people seem to forget and they seem to just not take into account for is that a majority of the people who own firearms are adults. There are some children who, their parents buy them, a little 22 rifle or whatever, you know what I mean? And that's completely legal and completely fine, whatever. However, a majority of firearm owners are adults. They can make their own decisions. If they want to mess up their parts, having that information, shut the hell up, let them mess up their parts. That's really not your place to step in and say anything about it. It really isn't. They can buy their own parts as well. It's not like they're going to be doing it to your gun. You're saying it to somebody who's doing it to their own gun, not yours. It'd be one thing if they started, dropping the slide with, with an empty chamber on your 1911 or something. That's when you say something. You're like, yo, don't do that. It can damage the parts. Please don't do that again. Yeah, that makes sense. But if somebody's doing it to their own gun, for you to step in and say something just means you're a nosy motherfucker. That's just the truth of the matter here. Whether you like it or not, it just proves that you're nosy and you're just trying to step in. Honestly, part of it seems like it's more of like a power trip of people wanting to, have a pissing contest and see who knows more about their guns. The truth of the matter is, and this is something that you can do your own fucking research on if you don't believe me, oh shit, it cracked. No, I'm just fucking with you. It's not gonna fucking break your shit with a majority of modern firearms. That's the truth of the matter. So, with that being said, just remember, wow, there is a tiny, tiny level of truth to the fact that if you drop the slide on an empty chamber with some guns, mainly 1911s, that it can cause problems. All the other guns, a majority, like literally a majority, if not all other guns, do not have that issue. That is not something you have to worry about. Go ahead and drop the slide all you want to on an empty chamber. It is your gun. If it breaks any of the parts, you can buy new ones. With that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me, actually, I don't even need you to. You can just do your own fucking research, as I said. But because you agree with me, all right, that dropping the slide on an empty chamber for a majority of modern firearms is not going to do anything to damage it. Not going to do a single thing to damage it. That's just life. Move on, deal with it. If you know that, just like I do, make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.